So let's start at the top here. Carlos Alcaraz, the number one seed, but he has never made it past a quarterfinal here at the Australian Open. In this first quarter, Jeremy, do you see anybody that potentially could take down Carlitos?
Let me check my notes.
We
No.
have, yeah.
No. Sorry, guys. And anything could happen, obviously. You were saying?
Yeah, we have Tommy Paul, Davidovich Fokina in his group, Bublik, Kaboli, Tiafo, Demon. Those are the big names. A lot of guys that you know, on any given day, I think they can push him a little bit. But I mean, I'd be really surprised if Carlitos doesn't have not an easy time, but he gets through this group like with relative ease in his standards.
I will say, if he were to have a catastrophic random loss at a slam, seemingly, if we're trusting history, it would be here at the AO. But me, as a diehard Carlitos fanboy, I hope that this is the time he breaks that spell and actually somehow beats Sinner in the finals of the AO, so he can finally get the A, the career slam, but then B, moving forward, he won't be so like, Australian Open never had good results here, because quite literally everywhere else he's had good results.
Yeah.
And his counterpart Sinner has also had great results everywhere.
Last year he lost to Djokovic when Djokovic, I'm pretty sure, revealed he had like a partially torn hamstring and had to retire last year, the next round against Zverev. So that was kind of a big L for Carlitos. I think he's improved his game a lot more. He's way more aggressive on the serve, and he's like more conscientious of trying to end points quicker to save his legs for later on in the tournament, and just for like his overall career longevity. Like he gets himself into unnecessarily long matchups when he can be, if he was fully locked in and focused, he could finish guys off more efficiently. One guy that I'm really excited to see how he's performing, he's playing right now actually against Thomas Mahak, is Tommy Paul here, coming off an injury a lot of last year. He's a guy who's pushed Alcaraz before. He's got the athleticism to match him in rallies, and they would potentially meet here in the round of 16 if Tommy Paul can get by Fokina, Vukic, maybe my guy Budkov Kajer, the young Norwegian.
NBK.
Yeah, I think I would love to see
Norwegian number 2.
I would love to see NBK take out Opelka. That's one of our great first round matchups there. But Tommy, I mean, the draw is open. If he gets Fokina in the third round, that's a tough one. But I would like to see, how he would stack up against Carlitos, and kind of like that would be a great gauge to be like how for real, and what's the timeline to start taking Tommy Paul, for real again, to see how he stacks up against Carlitos.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when would he run into him? You said round of 16?
Yeah, so a potential third round matchup would be Tommy, if the seeds hold true, it'd be Tommy Paul versus Davidovich Fokina, and then the winner would most likely play Alcaraz, assuming he gets through. I actually have two-time college national champion Michael Zhang, New Jersey product, making the third round. I haven't. I put him in my bracket. I have him upsetting Sebastian Korda in the first round, and then taking out Mute. And then imagine if he plays Carlitos in the third round. That would be an insane moment. That's how the draw stacks up.
Is this his main draw debut at a major? Of course.
I believe so, right? But he looked very dangerous in qualies, and Michael he's been absolutely flaming. So he's going to be a top 100 player.
Yeah, I just think Korda, it's an opportunity for him to show that he's back, because last year was a bit of a rebuilding year for him, and he is like no nonsense when he's playing his best, top 20, caliber tennis. So that would be a real statement for our boy Michael Zhang. Shout out to Center Court Tennis Academy.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Coach Dave. That this is like, Michael Zhang earned this opportunity. It's crazy to say.
Yeah.
Like I remember he played against this guy Kozlov. Like the winner of this little tournament at Center Court got a wild card into the New York City Open, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to the U.S. Open. And he gave Kozlov, who was top 100 at the time, like a run for his money, and this was like before he went to play college tennis. So to give you, he was like freshly 18.
Michael is the truth, man. Coach Dave tried to tell me
But
like 5 or 6 years ago. He's like, I'm telling you, dude, Michael Zhang, he's going to be a top 100 tennis player. And now that's reality is looking very likely. But he's obviously still very young. So he's like, pretty sure still in college.
we're gonna have that
so,
on.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna watch that start to finish. I don't care if I'm in the middle of a lesson. I'm literally gonna have it in my cart. Like that was also, follow. Just say, watch the screen, but I'll just say follow through. Like, no, you should have done a closed stance.
yeah.
Stock coaching things. Just get animated. Like, wow, nice. Like, I do have NBK losing to Opelka, but it doesn't matter because they're gonna lose to ADF.
Yeah.
In the next round, and then TP ADF third round. I think also a moot point because Carlitos is gonna beat the winner. But I would, we'll cross that when we get there. I don't know. We're gonna have to see who's in better, who looks like in better form.
And a guy who is always a wild card. He actually has not made it past the second round at the Australian Open, but he's been having the best year of his career last year, and now has recently cracked the top 10. Sasha Bublik. Yeah, he is the number 10 seed. He gets Jensen Brooksby in the first round. He's also in Carlitos' quarter.
Who just had the year of his career last year. We call this the triple B. Bublik, Brooksby, blockbuster. Yeah.
Book
just
it.
Absolute one for the ages. Bublik's gonna have TMG in my approximation.
I agree.
Too big on the serve, but Brooksy's gonna show a lot of heart. He's gonna dive for a couple, like 2 to 3. They should do an over under. How many shots is Brooksby gonna dive for?
Oh yeah,
maybe 2 to. I'm going 2 to 3 range at pivotal moments in this match.
They're having some crazy moments on tennis TV in that one for sure. But he also has, Bublik has a tough potential third round match with Flavio Caboli, who is very dangerous as well. So, Bublik, it's always fun to root for Bublik. If Bublik somehow made the quarterfinals and played Carlitos, I'd be like, I'd love to watch that because that means Bublik is just playing absurdly high quality tennis.
If he gets,
and he can do it.
Yeah. If he gets that late into a slam, it's like, oh, okay, There's a reason
it's like his French Open run last. Yeah, it's like his French Open run last year. But this is a dangerous part of the section, though. You got Caboli, who I think is a tough matchup. He's got Tiafa with a new coach. He might be a little reinvigorated. Minaur, that's a really tough matchup if they play in the round of 16. If Bublik got there, but I'm excited to see.
I have Demon getting through.
I also have Demon getting through to Alcaraz, but I think I took Caboli actually to upset Bublik there. So Bublik, I don't know. He just doesn't find his best tennis all the times in slams. I think the 2 out of 3 sets kind of favors him more. In the 3 out of 5, he kind of gets exposed for like dropping free points or not always, locking in. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does here at the AO because he is a top 10 seed and he's playing really well coming into it. So I'm excited to watch, and anything could happen here, but he's definitely a risky play for your brackets if you are filling out them for a challenge here. I have the quarterfinals there. I'd have Alcaraz versus Demon. That's probably Carlitos in 4, the hometown boy. The Australian De Minaur always kind of pushes him, but just limited with his elite attacking weapons to actually hurt Carlitos. And at the end of the day, those two might be, and Musetti, like the best movers we have on tour. So that those points would be absolutely insane. But Carlitos, his forehand is just still one of the best weapons we have in men's tennis. So, not too much, not going to overthink it there. I think Carlos gets past the quarterfinal hump at the Australian Open, and I think he makes his first semifinals, at least here in 2026. Do you agree here?
Yeah, who does he play in the semis?
Yeah, so that wraps up the Alcaraz quarter, the first top half. So now let's go to who he could play in the semis. We have the top seed in this quarter, Alexander Zverev. And man, Jeremy, this is the quarter of death. There are so many guys that are dangerous here. Just going to run down a few of the top seeds. So we have Zverev, who plays Diallo round 1, which is going to be a very tough matchup. Cam Norrie, Francisco Cerundolo, Rublev, Medvedev, Rinderknecht, Lerner Tien, Felix Auger-Aliassime. So we have some tough matchups for who is going to get out of here just to potentially have to battle Carlitos in the semis.
Yeah, what you said about Zverev having Diallo was really on the upswing last year, so good initial opportunity for Sasha Zverev to make a statement. If he just cruises past Diallo, we'll know, he means business. He's had
Yeah.
really good results at the AO, like beating Carlos. That Medvedev match is one of the best best matches in history, in my opinion. That like they were just having like 50 shot rallies routinely.
Oh, yeah.
Both like 6'5", 6'6", covering, like just not missing stamina for years. And crazy that Medvedev is in this section.
They always play each other.
I don't know what a collision course looks like.
Yeah, so it's set up where the potential round of 16 matchups would be Zverev versus Rublev, and then Medvedev versus Felix. So then the winners play each other.
Yeah.
So Zverev would most likely be favored to take out Rublev, and I think it would probably be close to 50-50. The odds are set that Medvedev would be favored actually over Felix, which is surprising. I think Felix is a tough matchup, or I think Medvedev is a tough matchup for Felix, just because like his core coverage, but it's always a little question mark.
Felix just doesn't really have those top 10 results at slams.
Well, I mean,
I hope this year he could.
Last year he made the semifinals in Australia, and he made the semifinals at the U.S. So he beat Zverev at the U.S. Open, so that was like a pretty big win. So he has a win over Sasha kind of recently on a hard court. So if they got in the quarterfinals, that is like a very winnable match for Felix. I think it's a little tougher. I mean, Felix has just a tough. I mean, he's got Lerner Tien in the third round. That's a tricky matchup. Medvedev in the round of 16 after that. That's a very like just grind it out. Give me a 5-set. That's like a 5-set long ass like 4.5 hour match that just like back and forth.
I'm tired just thinking about it. Just imagine Medvedev just slapping, just floundering about for 4 hours. Jesus.
And the reward for that is going to have to be playing like Sasha or like Rublev in the next round. So that is going to be another like your legs are just going to be very drained. So I mean, if Felix powers through this draw, makes a statement saying, "Hey, like I'm a deserving top 5 player in the world," we're going to have to start taking Felix seriously. I think this is a gauntlet for him to get to Alcaraz in the semifinals. My heart wants to pick him in the semis. I don't know if I'm going to go that way yet. I might change. But yeah, I like this is going to be a fun quarter. So who do you think is going to get through this quarter here?
Not to be boring, but assuming the wheels don't fall off for Zverev, I am taking Zverev. Just seems like the most consistent player over the last couple of years out of all these. Medvedev, looks pretty good. Looks like he's going to be able to outgrind people. Yeah, I think Zverev's still just going to be steady right where he was last time we saw him play. But we'll see. There's a lot of people that can come through. There's Rublev, there's Felix, right? So many.
Yeah, I mean, Zverev, the issue with him is he has a very dangerous start to the tournament. So he has Diallo round 1, Popper in round 2. Those are like kind of tricky matchups. He should get through those, so he's going to be the favorite, but not easy start. And then getting Rublev, he's familiar and has a winning record versus Anrey, but Rublev's not an easy out. He's actually been playing pretty well recently. I probably have Zverev getting by that too. And then, I mean, if it's going to be Zverev versus Medvedev. I just have a feeling, no matter how much I want, I do like we're going to get Zverev versus Medvedev for the 25th time. And it's like, oh, we gotta like,
it's always a bloodbath.
Tennis is just going to be forcing that down of our throats, and like the general public don't like it. I love it because I know, like, we know the history and like the battles these guys had, and like the epic, like the marathon matches, and the craziness and the back and forth and the hatred between these guys and the competitiveness. So, I mean, I'll watch another 4-hour match
Facts.
between those two here because it's going to be a blockbuster. But yeah, I think I would
Just
love.
the points are gonna be so boring.
I know it's just
So
going to be cross
grueling.
court,
It's
just
gonna be like a
nobody.
50-shot rally and then just an ace. It's like, why do they
Yeah,
count as the same? Like, why is that both 1 point?
I know. But I mean, Zverev. I don't want to watch Zverev just lose to Alcaraz in the semifinals, and I trust Medvedev's just like champion mindset more than Sasha for him to just battle through this group. He's probably gonna have like
He definitely could.
he's gonna have his on court time pretty much as it always is here is gonna be through the roof for Medvedev because he's gonna have to win like every match in like 3 or 4 hours. But I mean, it's going to be a toss up between these two guys, Zverev, Medvedev, and throw Felix in there too. But I like taking a chance on a resurging Medvedev now that he's serving better. His shoulder feels a little bit better because that was the main thing. You know, prime Medvedev was holding serve in under 2 minutes because he was getting so much off of his serve because he's an elite server. He's 6'6", picks his spots well, serves 135. So now that if he seems healthy, he could play a little bit more aggressive, and I think that's going to help him overall in his matches because he's going to grind and always be tough to get a hold against because of his defense and how his discipline in rallies to just never, go for too much where he's going to miss and just makes you try to beat him, which is so tough and not a lot of guys can do, especially early on in Grand Slams.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason he kept on losing a lot last year. So let's see if that shoulder's 100% healed. I think that's crucial because if he's serving like prime Medvedev again, then he's gonna be in people's return games by the nature of his game. So if both of those things are working for him, then that's why he's a former world number one for a brief stint, but still he was there for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then like 2 and 3 for this couple of years. Like he definitely has the potential to get back there, but we'll have to see. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to. Hopefully, we get a Medvedev
Changing of the guard,
Carlitos.
the double fault. Yeah, Will from Double Fault seems to think that Musetti's just gonna smoke a Medvedev these days.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it depends.
An FAA, you would totally have FAA beating Medvedev.
I did write that. I have a bracket in front of me, and I did write down Felix beating Medvedev, but when it came down to it, I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it. I was like, I have to take this seriously and can't just bet with the guys I like because they have cool names and looks. So I switched that up. So I'm going Medvedev here. I think I would love to watch that Medvedev against Carlitos and see what he can concoct because he's played Carlitos close a lot of times. I think he beat him one time at the U.S. Open, so I think that would be a very interesting semifinal because if Medvedev gets there, that means he's playing absolutely great tennis. So gonna root for that, but let's move down now into the bottom half of the bracket.